Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic. That's known classic. This episode number 2736 and Doubleshot number 2630. I have two X-Men related trades here. One is possibly going to be the penultimate trade for this particular run, and the other one is basically a miniseries. Okay, first up we have is X-Men Volume 5 by Gerry Duggan. And I gotta say, probably the best issues of this whole run so far. This collects issues 25 to 29 of X-Men Volume 5. And for some reason, they don't include the Hellfire Gala one-shot. I would have thought they would. I have not encountered it for some reason. It wasn't Mortal X-Men. It's not in this book, and it's not in this next book here, so here we go. So 25 is basically Kitty Pryde rejoining the X-Men. Yep. Because they cancel Marauders, so I guess they figured... Also, she goes back to being Shadowcat. We have her basically talking to a lady, like, hoping to being religious and be a mutant. Also, she still has the broken nose from the Marauders book when Gerry Duggan wrote the book. So, then we have Kitty go to... of all places, the old Xavier Institute, which I believe this is the first time I've seen it since Wolverine 25. Yep. Yeah, and of course the reference to Ogun, that was developed from the Wolverine Shadowcat miniseries, and eventually Happy Krakoa with Oasis, the other one's responsible for allegedly causing a massacre, and there's Captain Krakoa attacking the Capitol. Oh yeah, and the fact that this guy here, this alien who was part of that group from Jonathan Hickman's Avengers book, and he basically did a hostile takeover of Stark International, and he built Stark Sentinels. So you kept prisoners. You have a version of Mr. Sinister, whose prisoner here is Cyclops. You're thinking, wow, that's standard Mr. Sinister. Because the thing is, the man has been obsessed with this guy for decades. Because he thinks that the Summers genes, the genes of the Summers bloodline, are so vitally important to his science project. Why the Summers bloodline? I have no idea. This is something that no writer at all has ever explained this. What is his obsession with the Summers family? Yeah, so the X-Men here are basically Miss Marvel, Rasputin, Shadowcat, Snitch, and Talon. The old lady version of Laura, who's dating Snitch. Yes, and according to one of the creators, I believe this was Chris Yost, I believe it was, he says that was actually going to be her original codename before she went with X-23 Wolverine. Now, according to him, he has no problem with the fact that she became Wolverine. Not at all. He agrees with me that it was a good character boost for her to become Wolverine and her going back to being X-23 after the book got canceled, but the time the book ended and her going back to being X-23. He agreed with me that was back to backwards character moments. Yes, he agreed with me on that. This whole issue is all about Kitty Pryde. Of course, you have Stitch basically hit up her wounds. Then we have her basically intercommuting from Chicago, just interrogating him. And then we see Forge. Yes. Who apparently... So they mentioned about the children in the vault. Yeah, they're basically back here. Now apparently Forge knew nothing about the massacre. Then we have Emma Frost with Camilla visiting Camilla's home. And of course, basically and then we see a reunion of the Uncanny Avengers. Well, the Unity Squad, which in this book is comprised of Deadpool, Captain America, Kanan, who is basically Psylocke, and I think also Rogue is back part of the team, but Yeah, this was the reunion of the Unity Squad, which smart move on the part of Marvel to do this because I like Unity Squad, and the fact they brought back the Kennedy Avengers book, which of course in that book they actually explored who the heck, who Captain Crow, the new one, is, because it was not Steve Rod, it was not Scott Summers. So they have Kitty basically intercepting people at Jerusalem, and of course beat people up next to the Oasis troops. All because you want to go home. And then of course basically like, there's any help, I'm gonna kill Firestar. Yes. Then we have next issue, Whack-A-Mole. Yeah, this is the other half of that Iron Man issue where Emma Frost and him got married. This is the other half of that. And then we see where during the whole Krakoa massacre, was separated from his hot wife, Typhoid Mary. And he is working with Emma Frost because he's the new White King of the Hellfire Club. This is revealed not in X-Men, but in Iron Man, because Gerry Duggan dragged an Iron Man into this stuff. Yes, the reason why, because he's writing Iron Man. Though sadly his run is ending really soon. Just like this run is ending too. And I think it's kind of weird though that the two books he's working on are both ending. And I don't know what he's doing next. So quickly, and then we have the whole Hellfire Club, so which this is sort of basically something that's, so you kind of see these pages here take place during events of the Iron Man book. And we have, well, Camilla basically stop Oasis. Yeah, Firestar apparently works for Oasis for some reason. Of course, Kitty beats the crap out of her. Because, now, here's the thing. Why the heck is Firestar work with these people? She's a mutant. Why would we work with people who hate mutants? Yeah, apparently it's like, she's like there as a double agent. And then we have Frost meeting up with Kitty. This stuff here with the Hellfire Club, and of course, yeah, and then of course basically this whole thing with Emma basically was with Tony. This is set during the Iron Man issue, and then issue 16, 27. You have Kitty Pryde. I'm not calling her Kate. Just finds Juggernaut in this prison. Yes. So this is kind of weird. So she breaks into this prison that's named after Henry Peter Gyrick, a guy who did not hate mutants at all. He hated aliens. He was bigoted toward aliens, but he never hated mutants. That was something made it for a TV show, and they named it after a guy who's dead. Oh, by the way, do you know who killed Henry Peter Gyrick? It was Abigail Brand, who shoved it out of an airlock. Yep, that's how he died. So they named this particular education after one of Marvel Comics' biggest dicks. Because Henry Gyrick was a dick. And when he was a dick, even trying to reform, he's still a likable dick. But then, of course, he gets shoved out of an airlock. Also, one of the covers I saw, he's drawn like the actor from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids for some reason. I'm not sure why. So Kitty breaks out Juggernaut, the basically 19. Of course, he breaks out Scott Summers, who's trapped. So, yeah. So you have Juggernaut joining the team. Then we have, get this. We have Rasputin, Snitch, Stitch, Talon, and Miss Marvel going to visit the Fantastic Four. We have Rasputin just walk up. Oh, she thinks Ben Grimm's like home, so she punches him. It becomes so funny. Like, damn it. He went to her, try to stop. Of course, she's got magic sword. And apparently, she knows exactly, like, you Mr. Fantastic. Yep. Because she's a mutant chimera, was Choir, Rasputin. It's so funny, and there's a funny thing here where he just knocks out Ben Grimm. I thought that was so funny. And then, of course, Gerry Duggan does something that this is technically a reference to the X-Men Fantastic Four miniseries. Yeah, where at the end of the miniseries, because it was revealed that Frickin' Richards was a mutant, though that was worked on by Dan Slott. So this is Duggan undoing something that Zardesky did by basically using a device, using this little device that Xavier used, and just restore his knowledge of the knowledge of things to take away from him. Yeah, so I'll think with Heritage and Mist, and that's it. I got hand to Duggan. This was a smart move on doing something from a miniseries that proved that. I think that maybe it was time to undo it, because that miniseries came out in 2019. This just came out just like last year. So I guess after about 4 years, basically, of him not knowing and his knowledge being restored. So good on basically him doing that. Then 28 pretty much is just experienced by Cyclops. We have, well, more Mr. Sinister stuff, and of course we have Firestar. Just this whole thing is like focused on Firestar. Apparently, the reason why that Cyclops looked like his visor, like, so we see a close up of like, why isn't he firing his optic blast despite visor being off? Well, they show the reason why. His eyes are sewn shut. Yep. So then Juggernaut basically breaks out Cyclops, or tries to break up Cyclops. Of course, they play it all up like, oh yeah. And so Drive and revealing secrets. Yeah. Yeah, blame Mystique for breaking out Juggernaut. This obviously she kind of basically, he was broken out by Kitty Pryde. So then of course they run into Wolverine in one of my favorite costumes, Wolverine. And I still like this costume over the brown and yellow costume. Yep. And they apparently, you have Kitty, and Miss Marvel with Wolverine land in, not in just Europe, in Latveria, where they run into Dr. Doom. I am Doom. This is great to see Doom again. Now, if you're curious though, has Gerry Duggan ever wrote Fantastic Four? I don't think so, no. Has he ever Doctor before? No. So we have a flashback of just stuff with Doctor Doom. This whole issue is all about Doctor Doom and his X-Men, which is comprised of looks like Blink, a few other people, and of course they fight against. Here we go. I mean, what was Doom's X-Men called? The D-Men? The D-Men. They probably couldn't call him that because there's a D-Man already in the Marvel Universe, so couldn't exactly call it the D-Men. So basically, you use a Stark dummy, and of course, they have the D-Men fight the X-Men. Yep. But a lot of the stuff was really good here. I really enjoy this stuff here. And then, of course, after the fighting, of course, they have dinner. And, of course, everything is all fine, and that's pretty much the book itself. This book was really, really good. I give this book a 9. Actually, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because it's like Duggan basically is like, I guess he must have realized, though, yeah, let's make this book good. It's like, where the heck was this awesome stuff we had that before this? Because this book was like up and down. This felt like an X-Men book. They may be on the run, yes, but still, it's still a damn good book. And I'm thinking that possibly that the very next volume, this is volume 5, 6, probably just contain 30, 35. And apparently the 30th issue of this volume is going to be deemed the 700th issue for Kenny X-Men. Alright, next up we have is Miss Marvel, First Mutant. They mentioned she was resurrected, but they don't have the one show it happened in here. I'm like, seriously? They included Miss Marvel First Mutant mini-series and all new Marvel Now .1. Yes, they have a story in here for her from 2014. Not sure I included that in here for. It's just weird. Okay, it's called The Seven Daggers of Latveria. So we have... that's what the group is called. I just call him a demon. So... Nephrim is... So... Before I get back to this, I need to identify these Latverian X-Men here. So, Narum is this one, the one with the multicolored hair. That's her. And who are the others? There's Volta, Stag, Iron Claw. Volta is, as you can tell, the woman who is kind of like a blue female Electro. Yeah, that's best way to describe her. I'm thinking based on this description here that this is Stag. Iron Cloak is this one right here. Let's see, the Dreamer. Okay, the Dreamer is the one with the green cloak. That's actually not Iron Cloak. Iron Cloak is the pink hair girl who looks like Blink. Yeah. So that's there. So I had to identify them there. So, this book in particular, it feels like a book that is... it feels like a kind of comic book, which I do appreciate. The fact that the writer of this book, it was Ahmed Vanelli, which I think is the... I'm thinking it's like the... I think it's the actress who plays her on TV. Who played her on the... This is set right after the issue 25. That's basically what it's led into. Okay, it's the actress who played her on the Miss Marvel TV show. Okay, that's who writes this book. And the co-writer is Salva Perdisa. And, okay, at least somebody who knows the character. And this definitely does feel like a continuation of basically previous Miss Marvel books, because first issue is called New Normal, which of course that's what the first trade was basically called, No Normal, which I think is a cool nod to the first issue. Also, we have Carol in her original Miss Marvel costume, debuting the new Miss Marvel, and we have her with the Avengers. It's basically a recap of her, which I do appreciate that. And then we have like a version of like a Doctor Doom and basically Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer. Yeah, where it's like, oh, she's basically back at home because she was resurrected. So everybody's like very happy to see her. There's stuff in here with the. You could say this whole miniseries is kind of taking place. Let's see. I think this miniseries presumably takes place between issues 25 and 26. Well, the next thing comes, of course, Marvel Menace, which I think is like 4 issues. Yeah, and of course she's identified as a mutant. Yep. And I don't mind the new costume. It's fine. It's Miss Marvel. Design-wise, it's classic Miss Marvel, but it's done in the X-Men blue and gold colors. Which, fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then of course basically that eventually was Avenger, and of course basically like, well, even though we also have stuff here with Omega Sentinel. Now, it seems as though Omega Sentinel is like the main villain of the whole entire Fall of X stuff, except that this version, from what I read, is possessed by a version of a different universe. And we have this girl who's with her in the book. No, it's not some girlfriend. It's basically like somebody who's there just to, like, yeah, this is Dr. Nakia Gila. Yeah, she's a new character, debuted just this book itself. She's basically, she also put like a, yeah, she's basically a character of this book and the following book too. Yeah, most of what she's here just to try to track down Kamala Khan, and at one point she actually plants insurance policy in Mega Sentinel that if she dies, so is Mega Sentinel. Like, okay, interesting. And the way she has a finger here, she has basically toward her chin. It's almost like you can tell basically by the artwork. It's like, while the dialogue, it's almost like Omega Sentinel wants to kiss her. That's all I can tell about the artwork. Yep. So yeah. Oh, and that sword has Cosmic Sorcerer. So you could say this whole miniseries is set during the events of like the main X book and a little bit of Iron Man, because Iron Man is here too. If you're curious about issue 3, you're like, oh look, it's Gambit, Rogue, and Jubilee. Do they appear in this issue? No, they don't. Sadly, they don't. They're just here for cover appearances. Mm-hmm. But I do appreciate what this book does. Yeah, it still deals with the whole thing of like the events of the Fall of X stuff, but this definitely does feel like Miss Marvel book. I do. That's one thing you got to praise of the book. It definitely feels like a continuation of the previous book, with all mixed in with the X-Men stuff. Yep. But really, the book overall, give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Yep. For some reason, this is Volume 1, despite the fact it's just a mini-series. It just knows Miss Marvel, New Mutant Volume 1. And the book is relaunched as Mutant Menace. And that's also 4 issues as well. Yeah, and get this, issue 3 just came out just like last week. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of this book. Yep. So yeah, that's particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, notifications, and do this like button. That's gonna be pretty much it for tonight. So see y'all later for more videos. Okay, next video. Bye.